You have reached the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast voicemail. If you want to leave some feedback about Toyotas, have questions about Toyotas, maybe poke some fun at Toyotas, or let us know how your JL came with a Starbucks membership, then leave it all on the line and we'll get to it on the podcast. Keep crawling.
What's up, everybody?
What up?
Welcome to SnailMail, a fun newish segment.
A few months old now, but
we're
only a week back.
Yeah. Oh, man. So we're looking at voicemails that you guys call in and leave a voicemail on our voicemail number. It's 916-345-4744. And it's fun because it just adds another level of interaction to the podcast with you guys, the listeners. And you guys get to ask questions. You guys get to give comments. You can tell us how much we suck. Yeah. And we'll play it.
All the above.
All of it. Yeah. Yep. We'll play it and you guys get our genuine reactions. We don't stage these. Yeah. We listen to them. This is the first time we're listening to them when we play them. So it's fun.
Absolutely.
Fun little thing.
Let's see. We've got a few things going. I think we're shooting a video. We're testing out a video camera or a little a Sony camera up there. Mm-hmm. So if you want to see this in action, it's over on our YouTube channel, Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. It's a whole separate one from Snail Trail 4x4.
Yep.
So go check that out. We are getting ready for episode 500.
500. I'm going to put that up there for the camera.
Everybody. The onesie that Charles Locke gave you. I like it. Yeah, we are getting ready for episode 500. We are going to be doing a live stream. Mm-hmm. And we will talk about that on episode 500. And the link for everything would be down there on the show notes of episode 500. Yep. But just prepare yourself because it will be on Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
And not 100% sure where yet, but
correct.
We will put all that information out on the show notes of episode 500 and our social media platforms.
Sweet.
All right.
I like it.
Let's do it.
Let's jump into some voicemail, shall we?
Yeah.
First one is our resident Hummer guy. And not that kind, Jimmy.
Oh.
Like he owns a Hummer.
Is he a skier too?
No. I don't know. Is he? I don't think he does. He lives in SoCal. Oh, I'm so glad we got the hand signals for that on camera because that took me a minute. I don't know. Well, maybe. We got Chris Paul.
Okay, Chris Paul.
No transcript is available, so
excellent.
Maybe he butt dialed us. We'll find out here.
All right, I love it.
Hey guys, this is Chris Paul, the Hummer guy. And admittedly, I've not been listening to podcasts nearly as much just because I'm driving less for work. So I'm actually driving today, and I'm trying to get caught up on some podcasts. And as a wheeler, I have to say I'm a huge fan of Throdal Contolars. I know you guys spoke about the Banks one. I'm kind of an early adopter of one. Mine was before the Pedal Commander or the Banks one. Mine actually came from a company in Australia, and I've had really good success with it. So I don't want to go into the brands, and I understand my H3 is an 06, so there's probably less electronics than like a 2020 diesel. So mine probably needs less than like the bells and whistles. But anyways, I have an LS in my H3, and it's drive-by-wire, and my buddies would give me crap all the time. They're like, hit the throttle harder. And I'm like, I'm trying. And this was years ago. And it just wouldn't do it. So I got my LS tuned, and I said I want a more aggressive throttle, but you have to send your PCM out. And, yeah, it was a little bit more aggressive, but it wasn't enough. And then I found out about the throttle controllers. And mine has like 35 settings, and honestly, it's awesome. I now have it set on one mode. I'm comfortable with it. I know if I need to mat it, it'll do it. But it definitely made a difference. And then the best part is like sometimes if like my wife or my sister or a friend wants to try wheeling because they don't really drive and go rock crawling, old dead in the pedal for them, because I feel like new rock crawlers, new people to rock crawling, are very, very jumpy. So I could deaden the pedal. You don't have to send your PCM in. You can change it on the fly. So anyways, anyone who's got drive-by-wire in your rock crawler, totally recommend a Throdal controller. I'm not going to go into who you should buy it from or any of that. I'll just say the Throdal controller I have, I'm happy with, and do your own research, but just in general, Throdal controllers for rock crawlers are great. And now I don't have the excuse. So when I don't mat the throttle when I should, my buddies know it's not because my throttle pedal is dead. It's because I'm being, quite frankly, a little bitch and not submitting to the opposite. So enjoy the show, and yeah, I got to get some more driving time to catch up on podcasts. Talk to you later.
I always love hearing from Chris.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, and great feedback, by the way.
Yeah, that's totally true. And I've never off-roaded a drive-by-wire vehicle before.
Yeah, neither have I.
Until the Bronco in Moab last year.
Okay.
And so there was definitely a couple times when I was like, yeah, I wish it was doing something else when I hit the throttle. I did drive Nick, the Gladiator.
Yes.
The Gladiator on 32s.
31s. Is it
whatever
getting
it was.
upgraded?
It was actually recently, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're like 31 and a half, but I got to drive the Gladiator through Little Sluice at one time, right?
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there hitting the throttle and like nothing would happen. The tires, and I'm used to like, you hit throttle, tires turn.
Yeah.
And nothing was happening. I made a comment about it in the car. And now that listening to that voicemail, putting together our knowledge from the Banks interview and something else I'm working on right now that might be with an Australian company that makes throttle controllers.
Okay.
I'm like, that's exactly what was happening. The ECM was dumbing the throttle because it didn't think that it should be going at that point in time.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And so that's what you avoid by doing throttle controllers for off-roading vehicles.
Yes.
And so I'm like, yeah, his voicemail just had a massive light bulb go on in my head just right now. And I'm like, if you have a drive-by-wire vehicle, I think throttle controllers are a great option.
Yeah. I never thought about that even when we were talking with Jay from the Banks Banks episode. I didn't put that in with the off-roading community. I always just left it in the Tacoma world where I was like, yeah, when we're driving on the road, we're not getting the throttle that we really want, know, right. And now with these throttle controllers, like the Pedal Monster from Banks, we can adjust that and we can set whatever setting we want or play with it and do sport mode or, lazy grandma driving mode. But now that makes a ton of sense that you would change that for different scenarios, not, like they were obviously talking about like, oh, there's the factory or there's more aggressive or there's track mode or there's like race mode. Well, but one of those will really fit well into a rock crawling mode or a sand mode or mudding mode. It would definitely help out as well. Yeah.
Which it never occurred. I just always assume it's a 1-to-1 ratio. You put your foot down halfway on the pedal, it's going to give you 50% throttle.
Right.
And it doesn't. And it makes total sense that manufacturers map that throttle response into the programming of the ECM and the throttle circuits.
Right.
I just never occurred to me that and put it into that perspective of off-roading.
Yeah. So thanks, Chris, for opening our eyes a little.
Right. So cool. That's the one from Chris. Let's see who the next one is here. It's Tyler and his son. Oh, there's a lot of Tylers in this. Okay, let's figure out what this is about.
Hey, Tyler and Jimmy. It's Tyler. My son's name is also Tyler. So congratulations on the new Tyler. Thanks for all the great content on the podcast, man. I listen to it every day. There's a new one. Super excited. Believe it or not, I'm not a Toyota owner, but I'm a Jeep guy through and through. So I drive a 98 TJ. I've had nothing but those most of my off-road endeavor, I guess. But looking to get a new air up and air down system. Been looking into MORRFlate. I guess just give me, what would you guys recommend? I don't have to do 4 hours at a time. I'd be perfectly happily doing 2 at a time. What would you guys recommend? Thanks for everything. Appreciate it. Keep crawling.
Well, I'll let you take this one.
You're gonna let me talk about myself?
Well, my 2 cents is it really comes down to what size tires you have.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rough cutoff point's around 35-inch tires. So if you're having 35-inch tires, is where you can decide whether you want to stay with a duo or go with a quad. If you have less than 35s, duos are probably where you should be. If you have 35s or ups, I would say you should have a quad system. That's sort of my 2 cents. I think it's a matter of how many times you want to bend down and move things and rearrange, move the front tires to the rears or the lefts to the rights.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I think a lot of people overlook is that if you are concerned with airing up and down 2 tires, that the quad systems default closed. So if you, like when I was out in Moab this year, I was airing down my fronts and rear tires at different PSIs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd air everything down to, I think I put the fronts at like 5 and I took the rears down to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got down to 5, I would disconnect the front tires and then I'd keep airing down on the rear and it wouldn't let air out, or the air wouldn't leak out otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's, if you are concerned about airing down your fronts and rears at different pressures, the quad will still allow you to do that.
Yeah. So my whole thought on it is not necessarily dependent on tire size.
Compressors.
It's more what compressor you're using. So if you have a compressor that's putting out more than 5 or 6 CFM, you need to be doing 4 tires. Otherwise, you're just harming your compressor over time. The other thing is, in my personal opinion, I think the duos are stupid.
Yeah.
We have them because people either they're really on a tight budget, they need to spend as little money as possible, or they're just afraid of dealing with hoses for some reason. And so they're just trying to find a system that gives them a little bit more convenience, but they don't have to deal with hoses.
Sure.
So that's what the duo does for you. But the duo still has hoses you have to manage and deal with. So I'm like, you're already dealing with hoses. It's the cost it's only 10% more roughly. 10, 12% more in cost to do a quad system than a duo. The quad tires equalizes all 4 of your tires automatically. So if you're doing a 2 tire system and then moving the hose to the next 2 tires to do it again, you're not going to be guaranteed to have the exact same pressures in all 4 tires. And there's some situations like you in Moab where you do that intentionally, but you can do that with the 4 tire hoses, like you said, rather than needing the 2 tires to do them.
Right.
So like with the 2 tire system, you end up having to duplicate all your efforts. You have to unplug everything and move the hose and plug it all back in.
Almost double the work.
So I'm like, in my opinion, there's no real good reason to do a 2 tire system over a 4 tire system.
Yeah. I think most of the people don't like the 4 tire system because it's a lot of hose to roll up.
So here's the benefit for him.
Okay.
We just started making the quad compact.
It's a smaller one.
It's a smaller wheelbase. So we've been getting a lot of requests from people who own Jimnys in Australia.
Oh, really?
Which are Samurais,
yeah,
right?
Samurais.
And so we designed and we set up a kit for 100-inch up to 100-inch wheelbases.
Oh, interesting.
So that covers your CJs, your TJs, your Samurais, 2-seater side-by-sides, golf carts, any of your smaller wheelbase vehicles.
Nice.
Will get to be covered by the compact. And you have a lot. You have, 100? So 360. You have about 5 feet less hose to deal with on either side.
Wow.
So 10 feet less hose in total for the whole kit.
Okay. That's a new one on me. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. I like the version that I have. I don't know the stubby.
The stubby. That's there you go. Yeah.
So the stubby is now you can disconnect the hoses from the manifold, and so now I can roll up one hose separately, which is more or less rolling up a duo. And then I'm rolling up the other side, but I leave the manifold connected to that one.
Yeah.
Because I can, and it doesn't matter if I disconnect it or not. So I'm really rolling up 2 duos, and it's not one long hose thing that I have to roll up all at once. And so I like the fact that you can disconnect it, because it really does make it a little bit easier, because you just have, it's not one long hose that you're trying to roll up.
Yeah. And the hose doesn't fight itself if it can kind of untwist as you're raveling it too. So, if you're concerned about hose management, the stubby is the way to go. It's only $10 more to get a stubby versus a regular hose, which is,
I think it's
9% of your purchase price. So it's
$10 well worth it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my opinion, there's no reason to do duos. We made them because we still get people requesting them. I'm like, okay, I don't get it, but okay. Yeah, cool. There you go. I think the quads are the way to go. You get way more benefit for, like I said, 10 to 12% more price.
Right. So really it comes down to what compressor you have. And if you have more than a 5 CFM,
5-6-ish. Yeah.
So if you're running an ARB duo
and an ARB twin, you should be doing at least 3 tires.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're running an ARB twin or like a Smitty built 5.6,
5.6 is borderline.
Okay.
Because the trick about the 5.6 is that once you're at about 20 psi of working pressure, it's only doing about 4 CFM, 3.5 to 4 CFM, which is good for 2 tires.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're running, so really, if you have a ARB duo, you need to be more than 2.
Yeah. You should be if you want to elongate the life.
And the thing is that you can also run a quad system with a lesser powerful compressor.
Yep.
So hope that answers your question.
Hopefully. And get a whatever you get a new air hub. They're amazing. They really are. I'm so freaking proud of this new product, man. Voicemails are not on that. They're over here. All right, let's see. What do we got next? Transcript not available.
Again.
I know. It's not even name on this one, so it might be a car warranty.
Let's find out.
Hey, guys. Jimmy and Tyler. This is Tyler.
Again?
I was listening to your guys' last podcast, or
different Tyler.
Your last voicemail podcast. SnailMail podcast. There we go. And someone was mentioning a Jimny in there, and you guys asked the difference between a Jimny and a Samurai. I happen to be a Samurai guy myself. And the main difference is just which country it was sent to, for the older ones. And the newer ones, same deal. They just still call it the Jimny. In whatever country that newer one was sold in. But they had different names from different countries, like Gypsy and Maruti and stuff like that, and somehow the U.S. ended up with Samurai.
Interesting.
But they're all pretty much the same, aside from the new one, obviously, because it has like coil springs, solid axles, and I think like 90-inch wheelbase compared to like my Samurai's 80-inch.
Dang.
So that's kind of the main difference for those. But they're pretty rad. They're all kind of the same, tiny little lightweight 4x4s, and definitely recommend them. I'm stoked to hear you guys are going to talk to Vanquish, because that is one of the bigger RC crawling companies that I grew up with. They are insane. I didn't even realize they were near you guys, or I never even put two and two together, but that makes total sense. They are in that area. So it'd be cool to hear what they say. I think one of the YouTubers I listen to, who does a lot of like RC fab work, like welding and stuff, I think he works there actually, Harley Designs. I think his name is Josh. But yeah, if you guys end up talking to those dudes, they're pretty cool from what I hear. I got one more thing I wanted to mention. I heard you guys talking about some video games earlier. I just picked this one up, and I don't know if many of the wheeling community have heard of this, but it's called Expeditions, a Mudrunner game. And
Expeditions Mudrunner?
it's like spin tires or Mud Runner, except it's more like rock crawling. I've been waiting for a game like this for like years, and it's insane to see something like this come out on console, because they've had other stuff. You know, people make their own games on PC and stuff, but like this one's like an actual, like, from a developer standpoint, like game. But it's pretty rad. It's got, you know, huge.
Wah, wah,
Oh, we lost him. Oh.
Cut off. Either that or he was about to say a bad word and Google was like, no.
Did he call back?
He did call back right away.
Okay.
So the cool thing is that it has a huge.
Hey, ran out of time. You know how it goes, ADHD. Yeah, that game, Expeditions, huge maps, lockers, crawler suspensions, different types of transfer cases. They're going to be adding multiplayer, so like you can go wheeling with your friends and stuff. And I was like, I almost didn't believe it until I got the game myself, and I actually, like, you can like air down your tires, you can like go cruising through the desert or in the mountains and stuff. And I was like,
put a MORRFlate into it.
I didn't believe it till I put like tires to rock and like actually like crawled up something that I was like, holy shit, like this is cool. But anyway, cool to hear you guys talking about all these different subjects. I like also hearing people call in and talk about whatever they're up to. So this is pretty cool. I dig it. I hope you guys keep doing it. Keep crawling. Bye.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah,
Now,
you're welcome.
can the next person not be Tyler? But
No.
yeah, I hope you enjoyed the Vanquish interview we did. That was a lot of fun going there and checking out everything they've got going. I know when we were recording the podcast, they said, well, maybe we can just do monthly giveaways. And then I corrected him, or I stopped him at that, because I was like, man, that's like, I don't know if you can do that. We'll figure
Let's talk about
we'll
what
have to
that
talk
is.
about that. But so maybe we'll have another giveaway with Vanquish coming up here
cool.
in the future. But I believe Josh is, I think, a partial owner in Vanquish that you watched online. So, and he's a great guy. Went out to lunch with him and Jacob and a few of the other guys there. So it was a absolute blast going to visit them. And yeah, they're just up the road from where we are right now.
Nice. So the Expeditions game.
Yeah. Is that the game that we were down at King of the Hammers and met one of the guys, Cat, the coder?
I'm guessing, because he said that he was making a specific rock crawling video game similar to Mud Runners.
Okay.
And working on coming out with it. It wasn't done. They were still putting it together, but they had all the physics worked out.
Yeah.
So now it was putting together all the modeling of everything.
Didn't we go and play it at SEMA?
I didn't.
Oh.
No.
I'm
jealous if you did, though.
I think I did. They had a course. I think they had a limited thing available, and there was like a race course in an Ultra 4 rig.
Huh.
And I think you like drove it around this course, and there was see how far you can get before you roll.
Yeah.
Sort of a scenario. And eventually I was like, let's just hammer down and see what happens.
Yeah.
But we were in contact with somebody from that. If it's the same company, we were in contact with somebody from that company.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can find them again, but it might be interesting.
Maybe
Could be fun.
what I'm
They
curious
were
about
with
is
Mob Armor, weren't they?
When we were talking
They
to
were
the Mob
in
Armor engineer.
Edwin's booth with Marlon
and all the guacamole
and
Pallets of
hanging out
guacamole.
with Mob Armor.
Yes. Yeah. So we might be able to contact Mob Armor and see, because they were saying they knew each other.
Yeah.
What I want to know is if that, it sounds like they've got these huge maps and huge worlds that you can go rock crawling in, and the physics and everything sound pretty cool, and all the different things you can do to the vehicle sound cool. I want to know if they can now map out the Rubicon and Fordyce and the Hammers trails and let you go and rock crawl and wheel those trails.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We would,
because then I don't need to go on my summer camp out anymore on the Rubicon with 30 rigs. We can just all get online and do it.
Yeah. In our air-conditioned houses. They would need to send us out there with like 3D scanners so we could just drive up the trail and it would just scan the trail as we drive.
Yeah. Do you know what I was thinking though? We could take the Starlink with us and play Expeditions from down in the Springs, rock crawl the Rubicon, and then get to the Springs and rock crawl it again on a computer.
I was thinking we could put the Starlink on your car and set it up with a robot inside, and then you could drive it from your house.
Screw expeditions. We're going to do an actual real life RC crawl. Oh man.
But you're driving it at home.
Yeah.
And at your house with your on the keyboard or mouse or controller. And then it's literally driving your rig through the Rubicon.
I'm interested. I know how to accomplish that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ham radio signals.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
you just steal the Ruby repeater for a day.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be funny. All right. So it looks like we got time for one more.
All right, let's do it.
It's not a Tyler.
Oh, okay.
But it's a Reid.
Yay.
Here we go. Let's see what our strippers got to say.
Hey guys, it's your favorite local stripper. Just calling in to congratulate Tyler and the secretary. Not for just having a child, because literally anyone can do that. A lot of people do. But for naming it one of the best names ever. Reid. It's my name. It's great. I know you guys have at least 2 listeners that are named Reid. Me, someone else, I can't remember. I think it was at the Snail Trail meetup back at the brewery. Long story short, good times there. Congratulations, and feel free to edit out this next part, but I never thought to put this out there, but I'm looking for some long fields for my front axle, preferably just the long side. Blew up mine axle shafts back at the Prairie City meetup way back when, and if someone has a used set of those, maybe I could trade for powder coating or something in the Sacramento area, or a set of RCV 300M shafts. Little kit. I don't know. Again, feel free to cut that out if it's overstepping bounds. Yeah. Have fun surviving, you two. Last thing. Take as long as you want. If I'm in any indication of your guys' listening base. Really proud, excited for you to take your fucking time getting back. We'll be here. Okay, bye.
You guys are awesome. Thank you, sir. Yeah. When the secretary was like, yeah, let's name him Reid, my immediate thought was, the only Reid I know is an asshole. So no, I'm just kidding. He's a really cool guy. I'm okay. I like that name. So, yeah, let's see here. So what was the first thing he talked about? I guess the name.
The name.
Second thing, I think this is a great topic. So my first question is he looking for OG long fields or the trail gear long fields?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just,
I think he's just looking for chromoly fields.
Shafts. Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Shafts and burfs.
Well,
he said long side.
He did say long side. So the cool thing, I don't know if everybody realizes, I know that it didn't occur to me. I just assumed that they were connected full time.
Right.
But your inner shafts come out of your Burfields.
Yes.
And then the bell and the ball of the Burfield is forged into the outer shaft.
Correct.
So in Dana applications, that's your inner shaft and your stub shaft. Your Burfield is essentially your stub shaft.
Correct.
And the Burfield is your U-joint in that system in a Dana application, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm a big fan. You can't do, as far as I know, nobody has done it, 300M Burfields.
Oh.
300M outer shafts. Nobody does it. And I don't know if the time to create the Burfield out of 300M is just not worth what they would end up having to sell for.
Really?
Because that'd be my guess.
But aren't the spline counts different?
Between your Burfield, a stock Burfield and chromoly Burfields?
Yeah.
No, the stub shaft spline count. No, that's the same. I think it is. Yeah, because the Burfield's bigger. So I think it's a 30 spline on the Burfield side of the inner shaft.
So you can't use a stock Burfield with a 300M shaft.
You could probably have them spline it that way.
I don't know. I mean, you would have to.
Brannick will spline anything you want, however you want.
So the 300M shaft would have to be splined to a Toyota Burfield.
Yeah.
But you could get a chromoly Burfield and axle shaft.
Yeah. You can get a chromoly Burfield and chromoly axle shaft, or chromoly Burfield 300M axle shaft. That's the way I would personally go. Would be if you're doing for rock crawling stuff, 300M shafts with the chromoly Burfields. Chromoly is slightly softer than 300M.
Mm-hmm.
So 300M is technically a stronger material, but it's more brittle. So if you end up shock loading 300M, it's more likely to break than chromoly. Chromoly will kind of absorb shock loading a little bit better.
It'll bend before it shatters.
Exactly. So if you're doing high speed applications, I think chromoly is a better way to go. But also, I would love to hear from an Ultra 4 driver.
Yeah.
That has experienced with both chromoly and 300M shafts, and let me know which one lasts longer. Because my theory is the same between like kinetic straps and toe straps or chains. You don't want to pull and do high force applications with a chain that doesn't give it all. You'll snap it, whereas a kinetic strap can take it.
Sure.
So,
right.
Yeah, that would be my thought and my recommendation. I don't know if people out there have them. I don't know if you have some that you want to trade some powder coating for. Trade some powder coating with Morgan, Sidetracked Off-Road. He's in the area. I know he can get those items, and he probably has some stuff he wants powder coated.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be an interesting option for you, Reid.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody else out there, I'm open to this sort of being a trade platform to some small extent.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happens occasionally, I don't know if it happens continuously, maybe we'll even start a whole nother like snail trail trade mail episode or something. But yeah, I'm open to it. So if you have a set of chromoly shafts or longside laying around your shop that you're never ever going to need, get in contact with Tyler and I, and we'll get you in contact with Reid.
Yep. Cool. Good stuff, man. I think we're out of time. We're slightly over our 30-minute mark, so we'll have to see what the video camera's doing over there. But any final words for everybody out there, Jimmy?
Have fun.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
The number you have called has been disconnected.